The evening had started terribly for her. Sophie Miller had always been invisible, the kind of girl who blended into the background, who smiled politely while the world passed her by. She wasn't the type to draw attention, especially not in a place like this, the Rosewood Grand Hotel, glowing with chandeliers and filled with people who looked like they belonged in magazines. She hadn't planned on coming tonight. But when her ex-boyfriend, now a rising corporate executive, invited her mutual friends to his engagement party, to the woman he had cheated on Sophie with, something inside her refused to stay home. She told herself she'd show up looking strong, unbothered, maybe even happy. Except when she arrived, alone and trembling, she realized how foolish that hope was. Everyone seemed to have someone. Couples laughed over champagne. The band played soft jazz. And there she was, standing near the door, clutching her purse, wishing she could disappear. Then she saw him. He stood at the reception desk, tall, confident, dressed in a tailored black suit that fit him too well to be ordinary. His sharp jawline, his calm expression, and the way he carried himself, he looked like someone who belonged anywhere. Sophie couldn't help staring. He looked like safety. Like control. Like everything she wasn't. When her ex, Ethan, spotted her from across the room, smirking cruelly, her stomach twisted. He whispered something in his fiancée's ear, and they both laughed. That's when panic struck. Sophie's heart raced. She couldn't let them see her alone, broken, pitted. And before she knew what she was doing, she marched up to the stranger and whispered, "Please, can you pretend to be my date for tonight?" He blinked, caught off guard. "I'm sorry, what?" I know it's crazy," she stammered, her voice breaking, "but I can't let them think I'm still miserable. Please, just for tonight. I'll leave you alone afterward, I swear." Something in her voice, raw, pleading, almost childlike, cut through the noise of the room. He looked at her, really looked, and saw the pain behind her trembling smile. "Okay," he said softly, straightening his cufflinks. "Let's give them a show." It was only supposed to be a lie. But from the moment his hand found hers, something real stirred in the air. He led her to the ballroom, introducing himself as Daniel. "Daniel Hayes," he said, offering a small, reassuring smile. What Sophie didn't know was that the name wasn't ordinary, it belonged to the CEO of Hayes Industries, one of the fastest-growing companies in the city. A man who lived in headlines and boardrooms. A man who wasn't used to helping strangers at parties. But tonight, he wasn't thinking about business. He was thinking about the way her hand trembled inside his, how her eyes softened every time he smiled at her, how her nervous laugh melted into something genuine when he whispered, "You're doing fine." Ethan's face had twisted in surprise when Daniel wrapped an arm around Sophie and said casually, "Sorry we're late, traffic." It wasn't just surprise, it was shock. And Sophie almost laughed at the sight of her ex stammering. For the first time in months, she felt powerful again. As the evening went on, they danced, awkwardly at first, then more naturally, like they'd known each other for years. She found herself forgetting this was fake. The warmth in his eyes wasn't staged, and neither was the way he kept asking if she was okay, if she needed to leave. "Why are you helping me?" she finally asked during a quiet moment near the balcony. He looked out over the city lights, then at her. "Because sometimes, the people who seem the weakest are the strongest ones trying to survive," he said softly. "And you don't deserve to be humiliated for that." Her breath caught. No one had ever said anything like that to her. By the end of the night, her heart was racing for a different reason. And when Daniel walked her to her car, she almost wished the night wouldn't end. Days passed. Sophie couldn't stop thinking about him. She didn't even know how to thank him. Until one afternoon, she walked into an interview, her dream job at a prestigious company, and froze. There he was. Behind the desk. Calm, confident, and smiling faintly. "Miss Miller," he said, suppressing a smirk. "We meet again." Her jaw dropped. You're the CEO? He nodded. And you're applying for the marketing assistant role. Interesting. She flushed crimson. Oh God, I'm so sorry about that night, I didn't mean. He raised a hand. Don't apologize. Honestly, I admired your courage. It takes guts to ask a stranger for help like that. The interview went well. Too well. And though she got the job, things were complicated. Every time they passed in the hallways, her heart skipped. He was respectful, distant even, but his glances lingered a little too long. She told herself she was imagining it. Then came the business trip. They had to travel together to a conference. Long hours. Shared car rides. Late-night planning sessions. And slowly, the walls she built began to crumble. Daniel wasn't just powerful, he was kind. He listened when she talked about her fears, her lost dreams, her struggles. He didn't see her as